I average a 90 sleep score. This is everything I do to sleep like a baby so I feel like a king.
This looks a little weird, doesn't it?
Sleep is one of the biggest factors that contributes to my ability to perform both mentally and physically. And when I look at some of the best days, some of the most productive days that I've had, I've nearly always had a great night's sleep the night before. And since having great sleep is going to help me improve my cognitive function, make better decisions, and have more energy for my work, as well as improving my ability to recover from workouts, build more muscle, and lose more fat, I'm definitely going to prioritize trying to make my sleep as good as possible. This is a list of a dozen things that I do to get incredible sleep. The first thing I do, and honestly, this along with the last one I'm going to mention, are probably the two absolute biggest factors to getting insane sleep. The first one here is just sleeping until you wake up. To be honest, there's nothing else that has increased the likelihood that I get a 100% sleep score quite like just sleeping until I wake up. If I literally just go to sleep and wake up when my body naturally rises, I very predictably get between a 95 and 100% sleep score. When I have to set an alarm because I have to get up for something in particular and I had to go to bed a bit later, it always results in a suboptimal sleep. But literally just the fact that you can sleep until you naturally rise just significantly increase my sleep score. Now, of course, if you have to get up for something, if you have to get up for work or whatever that may be, it just means you're going to have to go to bed earlier, right? You can't just say, oh, well, I can't naturally rise when I want to. You probably could if you actually got yourself to bed earlier. So find a way so that you can naturally rise, you can naturally wake up before you need to do anything, because that honestly has increased my sleep probably more than anything. The second thing I do, and this one sounds a little bit weird, it's probably a little unconventional, but I think I've been doing this for around 4 years and I've definitely noticed an impact, and that is mouth taping while you're sleeping. Literally just putting a little bit of tape across your mouth when you sleep so that you're breathing through your nose rather than through your mouth. I'm pretty sure I used to breathe through my mouth, and switching to the mouth taping was very beneficial. I mean, mouth taping really improves the oxygen you get to your brain. It prevents you from getting sick because your nose is a much better filter of chemicals and diseases than breathing through your mouth is. It also just improves the quality of your sleep. You get more restorative sleep, which is definitely helpful. So what I do is I just get a little bit of paper tape. You can buy this for like $2 from any store. And I basically just take off a bit of tape and I just put it across my mouth. And it's not painful to take off. It's just paper tape. Like, it's supposed to be stick on your skin. But this is enough to just prevent you from breathing through your mouth. And I found it to be very helpful. It's definitely something that I would recommend. I mean, look, if you think you're going to die because you have mouth tape across your mouth and you have to breathe through your mouth, then sure, like, maybe don't do it. But I've noticed a incredible benefit from doing that. So it's potentially something worth doing. The next one is avoiding blue light 1 hour before bed. I reckon this one makes a very, very big difference. We're not designed to have blue light after the sun goes down. I mean, if you look at the only natural ways you could get light, it's either from fire or it's from the sun. And the sun only emits blue light between the time that the sun rises, it peaks about midday, and after the sun goes down, the human body, the human biology is not supposed to experience any blue light after the sun goes down. And basically what happens when you expose yourself to blue light is you're going to tank your melatonin levels. You're going to push back when you want to go to sleep because your body effectively thinks it's the middle of the day. So it's like, well, it's the middle of the day. We don't need to go to sleep. So cutting out blue light at least an hour before bed definitely helped me get to sleep quicker and also improves the quality of your sleep. Now, if you want to do this, I'm going to make a whole separate video about this because I think it's quite important. But what I recommend you do is at the very least, get some sort of night shift mode on your phone, which basically removes the blue light. Do the same for your laptop. I'd also recommend turning off overhead lights a few hours before bed. Maybe keep a lamp or two on, but I wouldn't have a huge amount of overhead lights. If you want to invest in some blue light blocking glasses, you can buy them for, $20. I think they're pretty cheap. And if you really want to be strict on it like I am, then I have a smart light which you can change the color of the light. So at night, I just turn my light to red. So it basically emits zero blue light. So if you want to take it to that extreme, you can. But either way, I would recommend at the very least to reduce the intake of blue light you get an hour before bed. So yeah, the first thing I would do, nearly poke myself in the eye there, is I would wear these things. These are blue light blocking glasses. They're kind of orangey, yellow / red. They're going to prevent blue light from coming in, which is pretty nice. The other thing I'll do is I'll just have my light sources red, which means I don't actually have to wear these, which is pretty damn nice. But yeah, those are the two things that I would do to prevent blue light at night. Real quick, if you are an entrepreneur and you would like help reaching peak mental and physical performance so you can grow yourself and your business, I would recommend working with us. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check that out. The next thing I do to improve the quality of my sleep is I try to avoid eating food about 3 hours before bed. The reason for this is that if you eat food really close to bed, let's say you eat an hour before bed or even closer than that, what's going to happen is your body is using its resources, it's using its energy to digest the food that you've eaten rather than actually recovering and restoring your body. So it's basically taking energy, taking resources away from the process of recovering and restoring, which is the whole purpose of sleep in the first place, to digest the food that you're eating. So I would definitely recommend at least 2 hours, okay? 3 preferably, but 2 hours, you should be not eating food at all. I would say a similar thing with water. I would avoid actually drinking water about 2 hours before bed, because if you drink water close to bed and as a result, you have to wake up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom, then it's disrupting that process of sleep. Not to mention, if you're getting up during the night, unless you're stumbling through the dark to go to the toilet, you probably have to turn some lights on. So you're getting blue light in, which is probably going to make it harder for you to go to sleep. So overall, if you're going to avoid eating and drinking about 2 or 3 hours before bed, you're going to be much better off, and you're probably going to significantly improve the quality of your sleep. The next thing I do is I only eat whole foods. I don't eat a whole lot of processed foods. I don't eat a whole lot of junk food. The reason for that is, well, there's a lot of reasons for that, but the reason that's going to help your sleep is that you're going to be able to digest the food better. It's going to be better for your immune system, for your overall recovery. So it's going to improve your ability to get good, high quality sleep. I'm sure you probably noticed if you eat a lot of junk food and you notice your sleep isn't quite as good, you don't feel quite as good the next day, you feel like there's something a little bit missing here. Getting whole foods in, there's a lot of reasons you should do it outside of sleep, but it can also improve the quality of your sleep. The next thing I do, and I was debating whether to even include this because I'm not entirely sure whether it's just complete bullshit or actually might make some sort of difference, but I use grounding sheets. So what that is it's essentially a sheet which has a bunch of copper wire running through it. And then I have a wire that goes out my window and then connects straight into the earth. So as you can see, there's these copper wires running through the sheets of the bed. And this copper wire connects to this main wire. And this wire runs all the way up out the window. And I'll show you where this ends up. Yeah, so it goes all the way around here and then it comes down and we end up in the soil here. And this is see if I can pull it out. Oh, it's been stuck in here for a while. Fucking hell. There we go. As you can see, it's like a metal rod that I stick into the ground. Whether this works, I do question, but this is what I've been doing. The reason for that is it's supposed to provide an electrical current that the earth naturally has. And from there, your body's supposed to intake more free electrons, and that's supposed to improve your recovery, improve your immune system, all these things. Not entirely sure whether it's complete bullshit or not, but I thought I would include it because I have been using that for about 2 years now. So maybe that's really improving the quality of my sleep. Maybe it's not, but I do it. I've seen quite a few people use it who are relatively respected in the health space, but it's worth mentioning. The next one is avoiding technology about an hour before you go to bed. A lot of us are sitting in bed and we're scrolling our phones or watching something on YouTube. I'm sure there's probably some of you right now that are watching this while you're about to go to sleep. The issue with that is that A, you're probably getting blue light in, but B, you're doing something that's incredibly stimulating. Very high stimulating activity that's going to give a lot of brain activity. And what's going to happen is it's going to be harder for your brain to relax, to slow down and get ready for sleep, because it's getting all of this stimulation all at once that you're not really going to want to go to sleep. More likely, you're going to want to scroll to the next video or watch the next YouTube video, watch the next short, watch the next TikTok, whatever it is. You're probably not going to want to go to sleep because it's so stimulating. So what I do is I just leave a Kindle next to my bed, or you read a book. Just do something that's a little bit less stimulating, because if you do something super stimulating, it's going to be a lot harder for you to get to bed. Next one is daily activities. So I'm doing some sort of activity every single day, whether that's running, whether that's doing a weightlifting workout, whether that's going for a big walk, doing something. There has to be some sort of physical activity during the day. Basically, it gets your body moving, it gets it going. You start fatiguing yourself a little bit physically. I'm sure there's probably ways that you're mentally fatiguing yourself as well, which means you just get to the end of the day and you're just ready to relax. You're ready to conk out, go to sleep. If you don't do this physical activity, I'm sure you probably notice this yourself, is it gets to the end of the day and you just feel a little bit weird. You're not really ready to go to sleep because you haven't quite pushed yourself. So I'd recommend just doing something every day. Just move your body a little bit. There's a lot of reasons why you should do that, but included in that is it will improve the quality of your sleep. The next one that I do, which is very, very helpful, is I have a consistent sleep time. So I generally, within about 30 to 45 minutes, standard deviation, I go to bed at basically the same time every single day. And the reason for that is you're setting your circadian rhythm. So your body knows, I go to bed at this time, therefore I wake up at this time. It's very, very consistent. Whereas a lot of people, they'll go to bed at 9 or 10 p.m. during the week, and then it'll get to the weekend and it's like, well, it's party time. So then Friday night they go to bed at 4 in the morning, and then Saturday they go to bed at 1 in the morning, and then Sunday they have to go to bed at 10 p.m. again, and their body's like, well, I thought we go to bed at 4 a.m. now. What's going on? And then of course it just disrupts the sleep. You don't quite get in that consistent rhythm. And when your body is almost like a robot where it goes, okay, I wake up at this time, I go to bed at this time, it's of course going to improve the quality of your sleep because your body knows exactly what it's doing all the time. Avoiding stimulants 8 hours before bed. And this is mostly caffeine for people because caffeine seems to be something that nearly everyone is addicted to or is using quite regularly. The issue is most of us are consuming caffeine closer than 8 hours before bed, and caffeine has quite a long half-life. So your caffeine is not out of your system by the time you go to sleep. And caffeine, as we know, is a stimulant. It keeps you awake. It prevents you from wanting to go to sleep by blocking your adenosine. So what happens is you drink caffeine, let's say at 4 p.m., and then you try to go to bed at 9 or 10 p.m., and your body's like, no, I'm not ready to go to bed. Or if you do go to sleep, it's going to reduce your ability to get restorative and deep sleep. So just because for some reason you can take some sort of caffeine in the afternoon and miraculously make it to sleep, it doesn't mean it's not affecting the quality of your sleep. It is definitely going to affect the quality of your sleep. So at least 8 hours, preferably 10 or 12 hours before bed, you should be avoiding any kind of stimulants, specifically caffeine, because that seems to be the one that affects most people. Next one I do is I try to get 20 minutes of sun into the eyes first thing in the morning. So within the first 30 to 45 minutes of waking. Now that doesn't mean I wake up and I just stare right into the sun for 20 minutes, but it just means you're outside, your eyes are, open, you don't have sunglasses on, and you're getting natural light into your eyes. The reason I do this is it sets your circadian rhythm. It makes it easier for you to wake up in the mornings, easier to go to sleep at night. Your melatonin regulation is a lot better. It's a very, very handy thing to do to try and get really good quality sleep. And I know it seems like a bit of a pain to do, and a lot of these other things haven't taken up a huge amount of time, but you can pair this with other things. So for example, what I do is I'll wake up in the morning and I'll go for a walk while getting the sun in my eyes, and I'll try to do a meditation while I'm walking. So now you've knocked out a meditation, a 20-minute meditation first thing in the morning. You've done 20 minutes of cardio, and you've also got sunlight in your eyes. So it's a pretty nice way to get 3 things out the way first thing in the morning. Quite a great way to start the day. But try to get the 20 minutes of sun into your eyes first thing in the morning, because if you just wake up and you just lie in bed with the blinds down and you start scrolling your phone, it's probably not going to be the best way to start your day. You're not going to have good circadian rhythms set. It's not really a way to start the day with momentum. Let's just put it like that. Okay, the last one, and this probably increased my average sleep the most out of everything, and that is avoiding alcohol. I bought a Whoop Okay, and this basically ruined alcohol for me forever. Essentially, every time I had more than one standard drink, my sleep score would get absolutely destroyed. I've never had a worse recovery score than I have when I just drank. I drank a fair bit, but every time I drink, this destroys my sleep score. There's nothing that destroys my sleep score worse than alcohol. And it really makes sense because you're effectively poisoning your body, and you're probably not going to sleep on time either when you're drinking. And it just seems to absolutely wreck your sleep like nothing else. So, look, I hate to say it, but if you want to get really good sleep, you should probably be avoiding the booze. So that was everything I do to average over a 90 sleep score every night. I hope you took something away from this video, or there's something that you can incorporate into your life, because getting really good sleep score is going to improve your ability to function mentally, your ability to function physically, just how you feel overall and how you operate as a human being. Sleep is just one of those things that you cannot avoid. Getting really good sleep will change the game for you. So hopefully you can take something away from this video, incorporate it into your life, and improve your life in some way. So look, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. And there should be a video or two around here that might interest you. So I will see you in the next video.